Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking, and my mic is on this time. We'll save that anecdote for later though. I'm going to be looking at the Hartnell era with three of my friends. We've got Joey Morgan.
Hello.
Lord Slar.
He was using the word friend loosely.
And Jacob Licklider.
And you got it right again.
I know, I'm gonna get it right from now on. That's my goal.
Yeah, if someone doesn't, Dylan.
Well, I say it wrong on purpose because I'm actually right.
You're not.
I think we've all been doing it wrong this whole time. I think it's Jacob Licky Lick.
Okay. Well then. Let's just jump right into our first topic, which is the Doctor himself, William Hartnell. What do we think of William Hartnell's Doctor and his portrayal of the Doctor?
You go first, Joey.
Oh, okay. So Hartnell's my second favorite Doctor. I fucking love him. It wasn't just Hartnell as a Doctor though, like as an actor, I should say, that made the first Doctor a magical character to me, and that's the word that I find myself constantly going back to describe his character as magical, because it really is not just an interesting portrayal, but the way his character is written and the way that he evolves as a character through his time on the show. He starts off as this grumpy bastard who really doesn't like anyone other than his own granddaughter, to really just a really well-rounded character by the end, who would sacrifice himself to save others, who would always go back to save the day, where you would never see that towards the beginning of his time as a character when we first meet him. And Hartnell as a performer just brings the character to life and adds so much charm to it. It's really a wonder to watch.
Jacob.
Hartnell's not actually my favorite. I think I might be the one here who has Hartnell lowest on his list of favorite Doctors.
Well, you think the Seventh Doctor is a
like,
masterpiece of a Doctor, so...
He is a masterpiece of the Doctor. Long Bear was one of the best stories of Doctor Who ever. But, that aside, I think Hartnell gets unfairly treated. Especially, I guess you could say especially now that we have Twice Upon a Time, and that's going to be a lot of people's first introduction to Hartnell.
What you need is a jolly good smacked bottom.
People
Could you
always
say
seem to
that
watch this.
all women are made of glass? Very good one, sir. That sounds like Hartnell crossed with Mickey.
Or like Yoda in Empire.
Okay, continue, Jacob.
Watch an unearthly child, and they see this who.
Jacob's just dead.
Okay, because Jacob's dead, we're gonna lose. Because Jacob's dead, we're going to move on to Dylan now. So, Dylan.
Well, I pretty much agree with
No, here it goes again.
Joey said. He's wonderful. He's an enigmatic adventurer. A lot of people confuse him with just a grumpy bastard, but no, he is the enigmatic adventurer, and he's brilliant. And he's got so many magical moments, and he's such a mischievous little scamp. Just everything about him. His performance is wonderful. He has very nice character development. And I'm struggling to say anything here because Joey pretty much summed up my thoughts on it very well. So,
Damn, that never happens.
no, I know. But at least you know who's a good Doctor, don't you?
I do.
Well, I think the first Doctor is... he's such a terrible Doctor because he's so sexist. I'm kidding, by the way, if you couldn't tell. No, I actually really, really enjoy Hartnell's Doctor. Again, it's sort of the development thing. He's probably one of the most developed Doctors because he starts off as this old grumpy piece of shit, and then he becomes someone who's a lot more caring.
Yeah, he's much more of a character than any other Doctor, and that comes from the fact that he actually is extremely flawed. Which I wish we'd see more in the Doctor.
It might also
I quite enjoy a more flawed portrayal, which is why I quite like David Warner's Doctor, incidentally, because he kind of comes in a similar vein to Hartnell in the way that he's quite complex and flawed. And I'd like to see more of that in the future. And it's a shame that nobody's really, taken note of the first Doctor these days.
Well, it might also be because of the fact that though Hartnell's era is loosely connected, there are multiple stories in Hartnell's era that take place just seconds after the other one ended. So
yeah,
there's a lot of room for development because it's sort of telling all those stories as one huge story.
Yeah, I think the script editor had a lot more of a thing going on in the early days of Doctor Who.
I think An Adventure in Space and Time actually accurately portrays what making that show was like.
Yeah, but there was no David Whittaker in it though.
Yeah, I know there weren't
which is incredibly inaccurate considering how much he contributed towards the show. I mean, as good as Boris Hussein was, why did he get so much screen time and we didn't even see David Whittaker? It just didn't make any sense.
Or Terry Nation.
In order to make the plot of that more concise, is that they combined a few characters into one, which is, I don't feel, the best way to go about it, but they kind of made Waris Hussein and David Whittaker the same character in that.
Which is kind of funny.
Which is really insulting to David Whittaker, who put so much effort into the show, and he clearly loved it. Yeah, he came back and wrote so many really good developed.
Hussein left after the first season, didn't he?
Well, he's not being a script editor, but alright, Hussein.
Hussein left after Marco Polo.
Yeah, he only directed 2 stories.
Yeah,
and even then he didn't do all of Marco Polo. John Crockett directed episode 4.
Whittaker should have gotten a bit of spotlight there because he did a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, Whittaker not only was the first script editor and helped create the show, he also created Vicky, Zoe, and the Second Doctor with help from Dennis Spooner.
Actually, Whittaker didn't create Zoe.
Did he not? Oh, I thought he did. My mistake.
He wrote her first story, but the character was created actually in The Mind Robber. Like, that story was written first, and the author of that actually created the character of Zoe.
All right. Well, I think. Considering a lot of what was in the Wheel in Space, David Whittaker kind of created Zoe to a large extent, in terms of because you'll notice something about Vicky and Zoe compared to a lot of other companions. They very much have a great foundation for their development, in a way that there's a reason why they're traveling with the Doctor, and it kind of influences their future travels.
And so subsequently, any story that David Whittaker writes with those characters afterwards, say with Vicky, like with the Crusade, you could see that there's some nice development there with her, specifically alongside the Doctor.
So it seems we are now moving into the companions section. So are we going to...
David Whittaker's one of the strongest character writers Doctor Who's ever had.
So are we going to do this in machete chop order, or are we going to do it in chronological order, starting from Susan?
Well, let's start with let's do machete order, and let's have Dylan defend his love of Dodo.
Well, I don't love Dodo. I just don't hate her, which apparently is some kind of scandalous crime.
Okay, well now I have to make a checklist.
We have to make a checklist. Also, we're including Oliver Harper, okay, Dylan? And Joey, have you listened to the trilogy?
No.
Oh, Oliver Harper's from the Sarah Kingdom trilogy, isn't he?
No, he's not.
I'm wrong! I'll just shut my face!
He's from the Oliver Harper trilogy.
Trilogy!
I haven't heard the Oliver Harper trilogy.
What's the guy's name in the Sarah Kingdom trilogy?
Nigel something.
It's Robert.
Robert? Oh no, Nigel's the name of the actor. Shit, yeah.
Neil's the name of the actor, I think.
Neil? Oh my god, where am I pulling Nigel from?
Well, Nigel Neil. There we go.
Anyway, Dodo. Yeah, let's start with Dodo. Dylan, why do you like Dodo?
I didn't say I liked Dodo.
Yes, you did.
I said I didn't dislike Dodo.
Dylan, explain yourself.
Well, that actress is a bit charming, and the character is usually pretty fun in the scriptures. Doesn't do anything offensive or bad. She's just fun to be around, and she has a great chemistry with Peter Purves. That's
I mean,
it.
Jackie Lane's charming enough, but like Dodo is just a shit character.
She's an idiot.
Well, she's not a great character, no. But and she doesn't really have a character, to be perfectly honest. But she's just fun to watch.
She doesn't even have a point. Like, at least Steven has a reason he's on the TARDIS. Dodo just fucking walked in and was like, "Ha! A police box!" And Steven was like,
I agree, but I just don't see why that warrants such
Doctor, we've got to go now.
At least the novels give her a little more backstory of, like, her aunt was abusive or something.
Do they really?
Yeah, nothing serious like that weird novel where Perry was raped by her cousin / by Howard, I guess.
Didn't that also happen in Necromantia?
Dodo was raped by a unit soldier in a BBC book.
Holy shit.
Or it might have been a VMA. Oh, sorry, not VMA.
She wasn't raped in Who Killed Kennedy. She had a relationship with a guy in Who Killed Kennedy.
No, I'm pretty sure she was raped by a unit soldier. Not that I've read Who Killed Kennedy.
Do you want to be raped by a unit soldier?
No, I don't! Because he hated so. He's fucking arsehole, but...
Okay, so it's pretty obvious what Jacob, Joey, and I think of Dodo, so we're gonna move on.
If I need to make my case even clearer, Celestial Toymaker, where she's like, oh, these henchmen of the Toymaker are people too. No, they're not, Dodo. You've seen them. They're just toys. They aren't real people. But they say they are. Dodo, they're lying. And
no, they're not. They're not lying. How could you, Steven? You're so cold-hearted.
It could have a bit of an Uncanny Valley effect, because they'll look and sound and seem exactly like humans. To somebody as naive like as Dodo.
Okay, so moving past Dodo now, let's move on to the second most annoying companion, Susan.
Least favorite companion. And why do people literally just like her because she's the Doctor's granddaughter?
And because she's the first one.
It can't be because she's got a good character. Because the only place she's good is the Big Finish audios, and most people who like it
and the
don't listen to Big Finish.
She's good in the
Sensorites.
Oh yeah, she's good in the Sensorites. She's pretty shit on TV overall. Caroline Ford is a good enough actress, but not enough to like save the non-character that was Susan on TV.
Oh, she's really good. Oh, by the way, Dylan, I finally read The Witch Hunters. Really good book, by the way. Dylan was right. Read The Witch Hunters. She's really.
Oh yeah, they bring Susan to life in The Witch Hunters. She's brilliant.
I'm actually wondering where the microphone on my phone is. Not my phone. My computer is right now.
That's interesting. That's related to the First Doctor.
yeah, totally.
Also, like, I like the idea that she's supposed to be the audience surrogate. Like,
no, that might be Ian and Barbara, you twonk.
Yeah, but she's supposed to be the surrogate for like kids in the audience.
Is she?
She doesn't have a character. She's there to scream. That's all.
I also like I'll defend Susan in this aspect, and it kind of goes off of what Jacob was saying. I've been showing my little sister the Hartnell era. She's only 8, and one of her favorite characters was Susan. She loved Susan because from what I was able to get from it, she really liked Susan because she could relate to Susan more than she could Ian and Barbara. Ian and Barbara overall are better characters, but she was able to take Susan in as a more relatable character and therefore liked her.
Well, I mean, to be fair, pretty much anybody in that situation would be screaming the fucking head off.
Except, Barbara.
So are we still talking about Susan because she's good in like everything but TV?
Yeah, more or less.
Like,
they improve on her a lot.
Like, and she's great. She is great when she's like grown up in the 8th Doctor adventures.
Yeah, she is. I think she's actually really enjoyable to be around in the 8th Doctor adventures.
In the book The Witch Hunters, as you were saying, and the audio The Sleeping Blood, I think she is a very, very, very good character. a shame
What's
that
the
they
sleeping?
really did that
What's
for
that's the sleeping blood from? Is that from?
That's from the
First Doctor Companion Chronicles Volume 1.
Oh, I only have volume 2. I'm gonna have to get volume 1.
Volume 1 is much better than Volume 2, because basically, apart from one of the stories, they're all fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
So anyway, what companion do we have next?
Well, now that we've got the two most annoying ones out of the way, let's go in chronological order from here, and we'll go with Barbara.
Can we just like group Ian and Barbara as one?
No.
Yeah, because
I don't know. I feel like I can't really talk about Barbara on her own. Like,
All right,
Yeah.
fine.
Ian
Really-
and Barbara are just Ian and Barbara. You can't talk about one or the other.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ian and Barbara.
they complement each other just so well.
I'm
and
sorry, Jacob.
I mean, what?
You went slow for a second there, and it sounded funny. It's like,
Okay.
they complement each other.
Yeah, we get the picture, Brian. Go on, Jacob.
They're just and they're perfect for they are perfect they're essentially perfect characters. If anyone can complain about
Keep
people
going,
complain
Jacob.
about, like,
Don't
classic
ignore
Doctor
us.
Who weak companions who don't have flesh. Am I really bad?
It's
Yeah,
every
that
time
bad?
you continue to talk about the companions that it gets bad. That's what's funny.
It's like all of your connectives and embellishment is fine, but when you
your
actually
sentences start off
something-
strong, but then like the moment
Yeah.
you try to keep going with them,
I'm just gonna say that they are probably two of the best companions in Doctor Who, and that's it.
I agree. I was just watching The Chase recently, and just like their characters are just so likable, and like really, I really can't find many flaws in them.
Yeah.
If
Notice
any.
how the Doctor is actually upset when they leave, and then with Susan, he's just
Yeah,
like, "Fuck off, my dear."
Well, that's because with her leaving, he thinks that's what's best for her.
Yeah.
And I think he probably realized
Actually,
she'll
there's
go
a
traveling
reason
again.
for-
and I mean like Ian and Barbara's exit. The moment they start,
there's the book.
There's a book.
so as I was saying, the moment Ian and Barbara start like feuding with the Doctor and the Chase, it breaks my heart really to see them like fall out over them just wanting to go home, which was the original intent of them traveling with the Doctor.
Yeah.
It's great to see their characters develop alongside the Doctor in that he absolutely hated them initially, but then
They see a chance to go
treat them
home, and
as equals, where he originally talked down to them.
they see a chance to go home, and he really wants them to stay at the
Yeah,
end. And yeah, but
it's beautiful. I love
as the
them.
Master pointed out in the first Doctor Adventures, Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, they're just lovely characters.
The Master.
Come on. They're just lovely together in general. They share so many wonderful moments.
They actually get married in
They
the
develop pretty
comics.
well.
In
I mean,
fact,
they actually get married. Full stop. They obviously, that's
In
something that's happening.
Every version of the expanded media, they get married and have a son.
Or
Like there is no
Yeah.
argument.
okay,
I mean, it's pretty obvious considering how they act, especially in the Romans, and when they get home on the Chase.
yeah.
But yeah, love them bits. And
So who's
they
next?
have so many outstanding character moments.
All right. So next up we have. Do we want to talk about Vicky again without talking about David Whittaker?
We can talk about
Oh.
Vicky. Yeah.
All right, let's go, Vicky.
Dylan's done his character analysis of Vicky, so if you would like to reiterate.
Right. Oh God, I'm a bit hazy on it, but basically, just from kind of losing everybody that she was close to, and living in torture on with somebody that didn't really like her on planet Dido, she more or less became extremely lonely, and kind of use traveling with the Doctor as an escape for all that, but at the same time being absolutely petrified that she was going to lose her new friends again. And you'll notice that throughout all of the episodes, she's always worried about losing people and, not being able to have a life anymore. And that, she makes for a really strong, compelling character, I think.
And she's not annoying like Susan.
Lovely. She's just absolutely lovely all the time, especially the way that she plays along with William Hartnell, who both of them have great chemistry. And they do so many funny things, like when they go round Rome in the Romans, or when they steal clothes from the seller, market person. I forgot what the fuck. The trader. I don't know, whatever he's called, and they steal the clothes by tricking him behind his back. But yeah, she works extremely well with William Hartnell, and she's absolutely lovely, and she's got a very strong, developed character.
She has great chemistry with the Doctor, and basically she's if you absolutely hated Susan like I do, then you will love the shit out of
anti-Susan. Because Susan's a proper introvert, whereas Vicky is a major extrovert.
And I think it's actually Vicky who really softens the Doctor up.
Oh yeah.
Barbara and Ian softened him up to an extent, but it was clear that he wouldn't get any softer with just them. But Vicky, he just became...
Oh yeah, those two characters have a codependence on each other, more or less. It's a shock that she ever left of her own free will. And honestly, I think when she left, that was out of character, and the only way that she could leave in character is if she died.
I agree with that. And she should have been in Dalek's master plan in Katarina's place.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been horribly sad, but in my opinion, that's the only way she could leave the show in character.
The Mythmakers, I already think she had a powerful ending, but if she had been in Katarina's place in Dalek's master plan, that'd be... Whoa. Mind blown. You guys haven't said anything about Vicky.
I mean, I pretty much just agree with Dylan's sentiments about Vicky. Love her character. She's such a nice spirit to have around the first Doctor that really changes him. Yeah, I don't really have much to add on her.
Jacob?
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. Maureen O'Brien is still great in the audios, the few that I've heard with her in them. And I'm glad that they're actually giving Vicky and Steven their full season of Early Adventures this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that, even though I only have the first 2 seasons of Early Adventures.
Well, I love Peter Purvis's Hartnell
it's not like you need to listen to that in
so...
order. You could just pick that series up.
Yeah, I'm OCD.
Okay.
Well, I think I love the shit out of Peter Purvis's Hartnell impression, so...
And that could make a nice transition into the absolute babe that is Steven.
Oh my god. Oh, what a man.
Right, you're getting a bit hot and bothered there.
There are few men I'd go gay for in this world. And if Steven Taylor were real, he'd be one of them.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing for sure, the writers didn't seem to like him. As in every episode, he seems to get punched, shot, hit on the back of the head.
I feel bad for him.
He's the ultimate target.
I've realized something recently about Steven, is that, he's not actually the most compelling character, but Peter Purves is just a phenomenal actor, and he makes every single story with Steven just enjoyable.
Well, I still think Steven's well written. He may not
he's still well written, he's just not the most compelling character.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's not
Maybe
got
more
an amazing character arc. He's just just a really charming, fun guy.
And who couldn't love his long-lost ancestor, Morton Dill?
From Alabama?
Oh my god, that was a great impression! Holy shit!
I don't think I can replicate it. Y'all must be making a movie.
Oh my god, he's actually really good at it!
You're Morton Dill, Jacob.
Well, I do have family down south.
I mean, I don't know if that's like a compliment or an insult, but you are Morton Dill. There's nothing you can do
I
about it.
think you
I
should
just love
take
that
it as a
Morton Dill is the
compliment
reason
because
that-
woohoo!
I just love that Dill is the reason Peter Provess landed the role of Steven.
I know. Like, it's like, oh, phew, Hartnell likes this man. Right, you can be the next companion.
You're the next.
Hartnell likes you. You could be the next companion. We don't want to have arguments.
Do I have to do the accent?
He does the accent again in the Gunfighters as Steven
Yeah, he
too.
I fucking love the fighters.
Peter
How-
Bird absolutely hated having to sing in the Gunfighters.
You
Huh?
can tell because he's
Absolutely
off pitch.
despised it.
He's really off pitch.
But
I
it's
wonder-
so
can-
funny.
can-
It's so good.
It is. Ah! Sorry, I've just put my arm on the radiator and it turns out it's on.
Ah,
So,
man.
who now?
Well, now there's only two left, and like Ian and Barbara, they're sort of dependent on one another. So, Ben and Polly
on screen.
in the Hartnell era specifically.
I like Ben
Yeah.
and Polly.
They're okay.
I think Ben and
Nothing
Polly are
special.
interesting. Like, compared to Ian and Barbara, they're nothing, but like, on their own, I think they present an interesting dynamic in how they both approach each situation they're presented with differently.
I think they're both really enjoyable in the War Machines.
Yeah, I like the kind of class divide between them as well.
I mean, there's,
Because Ben's a bit of a rough and tumble subject.
there's a reason. Because
And then, he calls, Polly Duchess as a kind of mocking affection.
Do me a favour.
Listen here, me old China.
Okay, does anyone know if Elliot Chapman does a good Ben
Oh,
impression?
Oh, yeah,
He
his Ben
does.
impression is
Yeah,
spot on.
he's great.
But that's just because Ben's just a Cockney lad. So you just need to get another Cockney lad to play the Cockney lad. And he is a Cockney lad.
Is he?
he actually has a really great impression of Ben.
Yeah, he does.
Also, people have been reading rumors that they're going to do David Bradley, Annika Wills, and Elliot Chapman adventures.
Oh, they better.
I
I
hope
don't
not.
want that. I don't think the first Doctor, Ben and Polly, works very well. And that's not just on screen. They've done a couple of Big Finish audios, and I didn't think that the trio really work that well.
Isn't
I
that
would
in
just
the
like
Ben
Canyon
and Polly go
Chronicles?
second.
Just the second Doctor, Ben and Polly.
Yeah, the second Doctor, Ben and Polly kind of work because the second Doctor is just mayhem. It doesn't really work with the first Doctor. They're just not the right characters for it, in my opinion.
So, Brian, I couldn't help but notice you're leaving out the two most important dead corpses of the Hartnell era in this companion section.
Oh yeah, Katarina and
You are.
Sarah Kingdom.
The two dead corpses.
Well, one of
Yes,
them's
we
an
don't
immortal
talk
house
about
thing.
Well,
that-
I suppose Katarina kind of does count as a companion. So does Sarah
Travel the
Kingdom.
fucking TARDIS. What more do you want?
But Sarah Kingdom in the TV show is only in one story,
Yeah,
so
but she does travel the TARDIS, and she has 4 companion chronicle audios.
okay, yeah, we'll consider
and
her a
something
like
companion.
and she has a couple of early adventures too.
Yeah, she does. Okay, shit. Okay, let's go.
She's
Let's
a
go
companion,
Katarina.
Brian.
Let's go Katarina, because that's a fast one.
She's
All right,
sweet.
Katarina
Well,
is sweet. It's she's
At
yeah.
least she's not Dodo.
She's
Yep.
kind of just there to stand in for Vicky in Dalek's master plan, which is bullshit, because it should have been Vicky.
But she's still a sweet character. Like you feel really bad for her in the moments where of her naivety. So
What a waste. What a waste.
beautiful.
Also, sadly, we only have one episode of Katarina that actually exists.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
But now we should talk about the most important pile of dust in the galaxy.
the lot in Day of Armageddon. Sarah Kingdom.
Sarah Kingdom. Boy, oh boy, Sarah Kingdom.
I love Sarah Kingdom.
Everybody loves Sarah Kingdom.
I feel like they were trying to do. she's great. Jean Marsh is probably one of the best actors.
My only complaint with the character of Sarah Kingdom is how she's like, Brett was my brother! And Big Finish tries to clear that up in their Sarah Kingdom trilogy as to why she killed Brett, but it still doesn't make any sense.
I'm gonna bring up the John Peel Mission to the Unknown book. So there is an interesting moment there where they kind of go inside Sarah Kingdom's head and develop upon her inner turmoil before she kills Brett Vion, which is rather interesting.
Yeah, but still, dude.
Yeah, it's John Peel books.
Okay, but
it's just lazy writing on Terry Nation's part. It's almost like it was an afterthought. It was totally an afterthought. It was like, oh, wait a minute, let's make him her brother.
Well, what? How do you know that? There's nothing. There's no reason why that can't happen.
I imagine he was high while writing, and he was like, wait, what if they were siblings?
Are you saying that it's a problem because their names are different?
No, I'm just saying it just seems like
it just comes out of nowhere and doesn't feel like it fits.
Yeah,
and
their reaction to each other kind of.
And even past Dalek Master Plan and in the Sarah Kingdom trilogy, they try to explain it, and it still doesn't work.
Why doesn't it work?
I think it does work in the Sarah Kingdom trilogy, but on TV, I just think it's pointless.
You get a sense that they are brother and sister in the Sarah Kingdom trilogy, but that's not what I'm complaining about. I'm complaining about the fact that Sarah Kingdom even killed him in the first place.
Why are you complaining about that?
It just doesn't work!
Well, yes, it does, because she was so dedicated to her duty, she thought he was a traitor, so you just kill him. That was her character before she changed after meeting the Doctor.
Okay.
So, because the Doctor inspires people to change for the better. Or the worse, if you're Adric.
Well, it wasn't just the Doctor who changed her. It's also the fact that, coming to terms with the fact that she killed her brother for nothing. That probably would change you quite a bit.
Is no one going to react to my dig at Adric?
I reacted. I gave it a bit of a huff.
Okay, so I think we've got Sarah Kingdom down.
Okay, so that's the companions done. What's next? Oh, look, the Daleks.
The Daleks.
Do you mean the Daleks, by any chance?
Yeah, the Daleks, not the Darleks.
The Daleks.
The Daleks.
I pronounce it like Sylvester McCoy, okay?
Yeah, well, Sylvester McCoy's a Scot.
Well, it's spelled Daleks.
Pronounce things not R. Well, actually, it is spelled Daleks. Anyway. That's how you would say it if you were British, and it is a British creation, after
you
all.
say Daleks if you're American, not Darleks or Dorlicks like most do. That's fucking retarded.
I've never heard anybody say Dorlicks in my entire life.
You'd be surprised how many people say it.
That sounds like a Canadian thing. The Dorlicks.
The Dorlicks, the Darlicks, and the really crappy
Daleks.
It's it like a British person. Oh.
Do we know any Canadians?
I know two, I think.
Scarosian filmmakers are Canadian.
The first, I'm gonna controversial opinion here, but I think the Daleks are a bit. Eric's Canadian.
Did you just call the Daleks Canadian?
No, he said, "Is Eric Canadian?"
Daleks are Canadian, confirmed.
Okay, so let's talk about the Daleks, since they're the most prominent villain in the Hartnell era.
So the Daleks are terrifying in the Hartnell era.
Well, I mean, they are in the Daleks. They are in the Daleks' master plan. But in the chase,
they kind of are in the Dalek invasion of Earth.
That's my problem with the Dalek invasion of Earth. Because the directing is so piss poor in the Daleks invasion of Earth, they feel much less intimidating than they should. The only time where I felt scared by them was the bit outside the ship where the guy tries to run away, and then they just kind of surround him and kill him.
The voices in
The
Dalek
rest of the
Invasion
time,
of Earth
the
are pretty
directing
bad,
just
too.
kind of ruins it. It just ruins their presence.
So are the
Um,
voices in Dalek Invasion of Earth. They're almost as
I
bad
don't
as the
know.
ones
Is
in
it
the
bad that I
original
legit
version
like-
of Day of the Daleks and Revelation of the Daleks.
You will be exterminated.
You will come with us.
Yes, that's the one.
So, yeah, they're pretty good in the Hartnell era.
Yeah, so the good and Dalek's master plan. Like, I mean, in the Daleks, what it is because of how scientific they are, like how cold and calculate. Like, right, the environment doesn't suit us. Let's explode a neutron bomb. And then with bloody master plan, it's how ruthless they are, just killing anybody who fails them, including Daleks.
Yeah. Even in Mission to the Unknown. Mission to the
And then-
Unknown.
yeah. Exactly.
Mission
Aren't
to the
these also
Unknown
good in
is
the audios that
probably...
they're in, set in the Hartnell era? Or no? Am I just crazy?
There's only one of those, I think.
Mission to
Yeah,
the Unknown is probably...
The only Hartnell audio of Daleks in so far. Well, there's going to be another one this year, but the only one so far is Across the Darkened Planet. No, Across the Darkened City, sorry.
That's pretty recent, yeah.
Yeah, that's 2017. And that was fucking brilliant. It was lovely.
But yeah,
Great audio.
I'm excited for the Dalek Occupation of Winter. I hope that'll be
Mission to the
But,
Unknown.
I mean, I'm not excited about it because there's so many Big Finish Dalek stories. It could be good.
So
it could
many
be bad,
Big
who
Finish
fucking
Dalek
knows?
stories that are
There's
crap.
too many. There's too many. Right, you need to stop doing the Cybermen and the Daleks now.
Wait, you've got it backwards, Dylan. They need to do the Cybermen and not the Daleks.
They've done the Cybermen so many times.
Not nearly
Not
as
much
much
the Daleks.
as...
Cybermen did really well on audio.
Well, yeah, but you can still have too much of a good thing.
There's
Like, do something-
there's way more Dalek than Cybermen in Big Finish.
Yeah, but there's still too many Cybermen stories.
So anyway, what do we have next?
Anyway, the Daleks are great. Moving on.
Now we're gonna go over our least favorite stories in seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh no,
Or
that's gonna be
4A.
hard.
I
Least
like them
favorite?
all. I like them all, apart from the smugglers.
I think we're all...
All right, least favorite.
Can we
season
all
one?
agree that Smugglers is terrible for season 4A?
Yeah, can we just
Yeah,
season
Smugglers
4
is
and
the-
just say the smugglers is terrible? We all agree. Who the fuck
And
cares?
it's good.
If controversial opinion, I'm going to say the weakest story of season 1 is probably An Unearthly Child.
That's
You're
not
probably right.
That's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
controversial at all.
I'm gonna disagree with that and say for me it's The Reign of Terror, but I still really I love The Reign of Terror. I think it's fantastic, but I just
Look,
think
look,
it's the weakest
Joey.
season one.
Joey, I, like you, really enjoy the Censorites. But
Yeah.
I am more than happy to admit that the Censorites is far weaker than the Reign of Terror. It's just true.
Reign of Terror
I
is really
don't know.
good, though.
Do we all
Oh,
like
it is.
Censorites, or...
I'm not saying any of the stories in season one are bad. I just think Reign of Terror is the weakest.
And An
But come
Unearthly
on,
Child
the
is the
Censorites, I
closest.
find it great fun, but objectively, it's a pile of wank.
It's all about...
I-
actually, you know, it's based off of the author's experiences in a Japanese prisoner of war camp.
Yeah,
What?
Censorites, I really, really enjoy it, but, you know, it's a bit of plodding TV. You know, it almost feels a bit like filler in a way. But I enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
I
but
do
it's
it.
far weaker than Reign of
I
Terror.
enjoy Censorites as well.
All right.
And
Alright,
I'd say
worst
that
story of
even though
season...
parts 2, 3, and 4 of An Unearthly Child are definitely the weakest of season 1, but I think because of part 1 of An Unearthly Child, as much as it pains me, because I really honestly love the Censorites, the Censorites has to be the weakest. But they're all good.
Though I personally think Unearthly Child is the weakest, I kind of see where Dylan's
I
coming
still-
from on that one.
Say An
So
Unearthly Child is weakest.
I'd go either Unearthly
Well,
Child
overall,
or
I mean, just-
Censorites.
But the thing is, I much more enjoy the Censorites than The Unearthly Child, but I just can't deny that the first episode of The Unearthly Child is
Yeah,
just so good that I
I'm-
just can't bring myself to condemn it.
I'm
I
siding
think
with
Unearthly Child is
Dylan on
definitely
this
better
one.
than Censorites overall. So, like, even if my answer wasn't
Alright.
The Reign of Terror, probably would still be the same.
Shall we move along to season 2 then?
Yes.
Oh, actually,
Where
can we all agree first that the best story of season 1 is the Daleks?
Yes. No, yes, it is. It is. You're wrong.
Okay.
You are wrong, Brian.
I
Marco
say,
Polo and the
I
Aztecs are
say
really
no,
good,
but for the
not
sake of
Daleks.
for the sake of time, I'll just say yes. I'm wrong.
All right, anyway, season 2. Weakest story, Planet of Giants, in my opinion.
Okay, let's see what I think.
Daleks' Invasion of Earth. I know that's very controversial.
Space Museum.
Actually, no. Sorry, I changed my mind. Web Planet.
Really? I
Yeah.
love the web.
Oh yeah, I love the Web Planet too, but it's not very good.
Aztecs,
It's like I love the Sense Strikes, but it's not very good. It really isn't. I just personally enjoy it.
I said Space Museum.
Space Museum's great. Come
No,
on.
it isn't.
And even if you don't like it, episode 1 of the Space Museum is
Oh no,
better than
episode 1
Web
of the
Planet.
Space Museum is absolutely great, and I love that episode to bits. But
as
the
much
rest
as I
of the
love
story,
the Web Planet, yeah, the Web Planet.
the rest of the story, ugh.
Nothing wrong with it.
It's just
Web Planet, it's really underrated. Like, rewatch the Web Planet, people.
Yeah, and get a bit tipsy when you do it, because I find Web Planet's best.
well,
watch.
I actually
Well,
like
yeah,
the Web
it's
Planet so much
I
that
love
it
it.
made
I
it
think
I think
into
Stuart
my
Hardy's
top
review
10.
of the Web Planet is Space Museum is hilarious, and
Well, I love the Web Planet so much that it actually did make it into my top 10. So
It's in my top 10 too of Hartnell stories.
all right.
Oh, come on, there's so many better
Time Meddler.
stories than that.
And in season 2, the best story we can all agree is Time Meddler.
See, I used to say that, but honestly, the Romans and the Crusade
I
are kind
love
of becoming my
but
favorite.
I still think the
Actually,
Time
I'd say the
Meddler-
Romans is the best. I'd say the Romans.
I'd say Time Meddler. Anyone else?
I can respect the Romans. I prefer Time Meddler a little bit just because I like Peter Butterworth, and it's a good mix of drama and comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, but the Romans is just hilarious from start to finish.
the Romans is definitely my favorite from season 2.
Good lad, good lad.
All right,
All right.
season 3.
Weakest story.
Galaxy 4.
Oh no.
By far, Galaxy 4 is the weakest. I absolutely hate Galaxy 4. I gave it a 0 out of 10.
I
like
love
it.
Galaxy 4.
I
The weakest
really,
of season.
really
The weakest of season 3 is the Savages. Like that's.
I'd say so, and I like both the Savages and Galaxy 4 about as much as each other, which is a fair bit. But
I say
there's
like
still-
Galaxy
even-
Massacre is the weak
Savages.
3.
Oh no,
The
I
Massacre.
can't stand Galaxy 4.
What the massacre? The massacre is fucking brilliant.
The Massacre's
I love
great,
No, it's
dude.
not. It's so confusing. It'll probably be
You
better.
just,
if
you
it
just
gets-
can't keep
but
up with
still,
the characters, Jacob. That's all.
I don't know. I appreciate the Massacre. I just don't think it's amazing. It's.
Oh, I love it. It's such compelling drama.
It's not amazing by any means, but it is
I
good,
think-
and I do enjoy it.
It's really compelling adult drama.
The only really, really terrible thing
Oh,
about it is
absolutely.
Dodo.
Dodo's in it for like the last 15
Yeah,
seconds.
and she
See,
manages
but like the end
to
of the
balls
Massacre is the
up
best
and
thing.
leave the
like
watcher
the moment
with
like he takes Stephen out of
terrible
that time
taste.
period, and they have that argument.
Yeah.
That's like the best part of the Massacre.
Can we all agree that Stephen had a better exit in the Massacre than he did in Savages?
Yeah,
Okay.
Guys, still
I'm
there?
so glad he came back because
Yeah.
I love Steven.
Well, because of the gunfighters, obviously.
You wouldn't want to just be stuck with Dodo for a while.
So, best of season 3?
Alright. What next?
Best of season 3.
Dalek's
Mr.
master
Brian.
plan.
Dalek's master plan. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
We have
can't really be anything else, can it? I mean, the only thing that even gets close is maybe the War Machine.
Oh wait, no. The worst of season 3 is the Celestial Toymaker.
wrong.
Wait, why would
What's
I
so bad about
Celestial
that?
Toymaker is the worst. One of the worst Hartnells in.
Wrong. So wrong.
It's God, it's just
See,
bad.
whatever you're using, phone, computer, it doesn't like you. It's making you slow again because your opinion about the Celestial Toymaker is invalid, and you're wrong.
I think Celestial Toymaker is great.
I
Sorry,
do as
cut
well.
out for- I missed whatever we talked about.
Apart from episode 3, the Celestial Toymaker is great. Anyway, let's move on because
Okay.
Jacob's unable to talk.
So
And the best story of season 3 is Dalek's Master Plan.
Oh yeah, definitely.
worst
Yeah, no, I don't
worst
think-
of season 4 for the Hartnell era is Smugglers, and that means obviously the best one has to be
It's
10th
I
Planet.
mean, nobody's gonna argue that. There's nobody who thinks.
You know what? You'd be surprised.
Annika Wills would disagree. Annika Wills.
Yeah, well, she's
loves
wrong.
Smugglers.
She thinks her worst story is her best. So,
Wait,
her
what does
worst
she think is
story?
her worst?
well, she thinks her worst story is the best, which is the Smugglers. She thinks that's the best.
Oh, I
one.
thought you meant that. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Ugh.
Oh.
Okay, here's what I will
Actually, no,
say.
sorry, it's not worse on the one.
Here's what I will say in defense of Smugglers. And
It
before
would be a lot more entertaining if it had the visuals.
well, there
Because I mean, the last 10
It
minutes,
would.
it's literally just screaming, and you
Yeah.
can't tell what's going on.
before you kill me, Dylan, let me say what I'm gonna say.
I'm not gonna kill it. I don't hate that much.
You might kill me after this. I think the Smugglers offers some good ideas, but it's given way too much time to do something very small. It should have been 2 parts at maximum.
Yeah, but there's still nothing would have happened because nothing happened in the story. It doesn't matter how small. you
Well,
shrink it,
nothing really
nothing
happens
still.
in the Sontaran experiment, yet I like the Sontaran
The
experiment.
Sontaran experiment's boring.
Sontaran Experiment is shit.
The only successful 2-parter, in my
I can
opinion,
see that.
is The Rescue.
What about the Edge of Destruction?
That's
Oh,
not
well, that one
successful in
works
any way,
okay.
shape, or form.
Oh, and Black Orchid. I like Black Orchid.
I like Black Orchid
Black
too.
Orchid.
But yeah, Smugglers really
Wait.
needed to be 2 parts long, not 4.
Smugglers just needed to have a different
So
idea.
what about
of
all
doing
the
same
Colin
thing.
Baker 2
Smugglers just needed to actually
Yeah, but
do
no.
something.
Well, the Colin Baker 2-parters are 4-parters. I'm talking classic Who 20-minute 2-parters.
Hey. Okay. I won't disagree.
Because part 4 of the Smugglers is actually really entertaining. I enjoyed it, but
Well, I mean, if you like listening to screaming for 10 minutes.
Alright, shall we
no,
talk
I was
about,
watching the recon. I could actually perfectly understand it. It was good, but
You can't understand the massacre.
I can understand the massacre. It's Jacob who can't understand the
Alright,
massacre.
all you Yanks sound the same to me.
That's racist.
That's not Jacob. That's not racism. We're gonna have a chat after this
No,
about
we're not, Brian.
what the definition of racism is, because what Dylan
That's
just said is not racist.
anti-Americanism.
I mean, we're probably, in a large part of the same race, so it's not really being racist, is it?
I
But
mean,
also,
Jacob, are you? Do you have dark skin?
no, I don't.
Joey,
I mean,
do you have dark skin?
If you have ancestry
I don't.
from southern
I
or
don't
eastern
have dark
Europe,
skin,
then you
so
are
it wasn't
different.
racist.
It's not, you're not.
We're all white.
You know who clearly
I-
does
wait,
have
if-
dark skin that's not blackface at all? Ella Kier. Or no, shit, no, Saladin. Saladin, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I'm thinking.
That's the one thing I don't like about the Crusade. It's so uncomfortable whenever you see colorized images of it.
Yep.
Like, they can get away with it in black and white, but when you see it in color, it's like, yeah, don't do that, please.
I mean, at least it was like the 60s and not like 10 years ago when they made that.
And at least it was Bernard Kay they blacked up, because Bernard Kay is
Do you think that's why they won't release the Crusade on DVD?
I think that's a distinct possibility, if I'm perfectly honest.
Hey, wait a
Which
minute.
is funny because they released.
Isn't the
Talons
guy
of
who
Wang
plays
Chang
Mavic
once
Chen
or
the
twice.
same guy who plays
Oh yeah, but
Tobias
remember, they
Vaughn?
released the Talons of Wang Chang before everybody gets super outraged over everything on Twitter.
But
Oh,
That's
right,
true.
yeah.
didn't they black up the guy who plays Mavic Chen?
Well, no, they Asianed him up because he's meant to be
Which
half
is still
Asian,
like
half
equally
white.
as racist, but I mean,
Because the guy who plays Mavic Chen also plays Tobias Vaughn, right?
Kevin
Yeah.
Stone. Yeah.
I love Kevin Stone.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's meant, like, Mavic Chan's meant to be a mixed race person.
Packer.
Anyway, what do we do next?
Final thoughts on the Hartnell era as a whole.
We're forgetting a certain section that has no visuals.
Oh,
What?
I suppose we are. Okay, favorite First Doctor audios.
Domain of the Verd, the Sarah Kingdom trilogy.
I'm impartial to the Doctor's Tale.
The Doctor's Tale is wonderful. The Cold
Oh,
Equations. Have any of you heard the Cold Equations?
Part of the Oliver
No.
Harper trilogy.
Oh, the Cold Equations is one of my fucking favorites. How tense is it? It's brilliant.
Really tense.
I was
Rocket-
shitting my pants throughout the entire thing.
I've got to say,
Dylan, you're the one who's heard the Rocketmen, right?
Oh, the
I've heard
Rocketman's
the
brilliant.
Rocketmen too.
And
The
Return of the
Rocketmen and Return. I'd say the Return of the Rocketmen is actually better than the original.
So would I.
Rocketmen.
Return of the Rocketman's actually one of my favourite Big Finish audios.
But that's because it's got like it does so much for Steven as a character.
Oh yeah, it does. Like the Rocketmen, all it does is basically Ian loves Barbara. You didn't know that, did you? And then whereas Return of the Rocketmen just completely develops Steven's character.
Well, I'd say Ian loves Barbara. Plus, here's a really cool idea for a villain. Pay attention
Yeah.
to them. We're returning to them. in
I
a
know.
couple
I
of
want
stories.
the Rocketmen
Wait.
to come on TV.
wait a minute.
That'd be really cool.
Is the Rocketmen like the perfect Ian Barbara shipping material or something?
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, I'm gonna listen to it now.
Yeah, listen to it. It's really good.
But like literally
You're not
from
failing.
the first line, you can tell it's going to be that. Like the first line is, "How do you know when you truly love someone?"
It's
Jesus
really
Christ.
good. And it's John Dorney, and I love it. Also,
John
I really
Dorney.
like Mother Russia.
Oh, Mother Russia's wonderful.
I
Ooh.
got it when it was on. I got it when it was the listeners thing, and I listened to it, and I'm like, oh, this is really good.
I
I
haven't
should have.
I haven't
Rise-
listened to a lot of First Doctor audios, but I've got to say, Home Truths of Tannenbaum and
Oh yeah, they're good.
the Suntarans are really good.
Anybody heard Domain of the Verd?
I've heard Domain of
have.
Gordon really good as well.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant action story.
Basically, all the First Doctor audios I've heard, I've really, really liked.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard a bad one yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
The weakest one I heard was like just a fairly plain, pure historical. It's never really been worse than that.
Oh.
I also
Well, I
think
suppose also the Fields of Terror, which was in the first Doctor Commander Chronicles Volume 2, had a
They also had-
stupid ending, which kind of pissed me off. But
Joey,
yeah,
how about you?
What? Some of my favorites?
Yeah.
Oh, most of them have been mentioned. Farewell, Great Macedon.
Oh, that's excellent.
That was the best one.
that is like
well,
that's
Farewell.
amazing.
It's
I have a soft spot
flawless.
for the Dark Planet. The
Listen
Dark
to
Planet
these
is-
two
Yeah,
nerds as
Farewell,
they're just
Great Macedon is a
completely
flawless
flipping
Doctor
out.
Who. It's a
What
flawless-
about his short trips are really good too. Any you guys heard Rise and Fall?
Rise and Fall?
Rise
is
and
lovely.
Fall. Oh.
I haven't heard that one. Is it good?
I honestly wish
Oh, yeah.
it'd been developed more. I wish it had been a companion chronicle.
Oh, Rise and Fall.
That had so much potential.
What? There was.
Yeah, but Farewell, Great Macedon, best first Doctor
I-
audio.
Probably.
One of the best
I've
Doctor
also
Who
heard
stories
really
ever
good.
made.
I haven't.
Actually, no. Probably the worst
I'm glad
first.
that Farewell, Great Macedon is an audio though, because on TV it would never work. Just
I think
with the
it
budget.
could, but
Probably.
It works in like the same way that the Aztecs works. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would be similar to
the
the
arena
Aztecs.
would be difficult. That's the only one that would be difficult.
Probably the
I would
worst
say,
first
the-
Doctor audio I've heard is from
Dark
Short
Planet?
Trips Volume 4.
Oh, was that A Star Is Born?
Yeah, this
Oh, yeah,
I,
I didn't know
haven't
that one.
heard Short Trips Volume 4. I've only heard Volume 1 and then a few
Volume 4 is
singular.
the worst volume of short trips.
Oh
It was-
yeah, I don't like it at all. It's
How about
Except for the Eighth Doctor.
All
Eighth Doctor one on that was good.
right. I'd also say Fragile Yellow Arc of Fragrance and The Dark Planet are two really fun sci-fi stories.
They're quite good. Nothing wrong with those.
I have
Oh.
a soft spot for Masters of Luxor.
So
because
do
of what
I,
it-
but it's the most sexist Doctor Who story ever.
I like Masters of Luxor.
And honestly, I wouldn't blame you for writing William Hartnell as sexist in Twice Upon a Time if the only story you'd heard was Masters
Was that
of Luxor. I mean, Ian it literally says that women are inferior to men in it. So,
Holy
yeah.
shit!
Oh, no, Anthony Coburn's a proper old school conservative, man. Like, Christian conservative.
Damn.
Crazy far right Christian conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm your standard centrist. Maybe we should be saving money instead of spending money.
Radical
then you have the
centrist TM.
So when
yes.
her in an unearthly child is treated like dirt by, is it Czar?
Yeah,
Well, at least that one you can sort of make the argument. It's cave.
like, hey, they're
people.
cavemen.
Yeah,
like,
but
it kind of makes sense.
if they weren't cavemen, that's literally what Anthony Coburn.
Oh no, they
thinks of
definitely.
women.
I reckon that David Whittaker probably made a lot of changes to the script. Anthony Coburn.
And I feel like if Masters of Luxor went into production,
yeah, David Whittaker would have removed the line. What do you expect? They're women.
I think any of the script editors would probably remove that line.
Yeah,
from, like, the Hartnell era.
none of the script editors are even remotely that sexist.
Also, I know it's not a first Doctor story, but Donald Tosh wrote The Rose Mariners.
Oh,
The dude he can write a good story.
Donald Tosh basically wrote The Massacre. Like, that wasn't John Lucarotti's work. That was Donald Tosh. But John Lucarotti had his agent told him to keep the name on it because he'd, like, done a different draft.
Alright, so now that we've got our Big Finish wanking session out of the way, final thoughts on the Hartnell era.
Just a note on the books real quick. For anyone looking
God damn
for
it,
some
Jacob,
really good Doctor
you're
Who
the
books,
only one who's read the books!
I've read some books.
Venusian Lullaby, The
Witch
Man in the
Hunters.
Velvet Mask,
The Witch
that was a
Hunters.
bit-
Ignore those.
I was
Read The
getting
Witch
to
Hunters.
The Witch Hunters and The Time Travelers.
Oh, I'm 2 chapters into the Time Travelers.
Joey's
That's
been
quite
really
good.
silent here for the
I
past
read
few
it like 3
minutes.
years ago. I remember really liking
no,
it.
I just
Also,
love the
No,
conversation.
I think that me and Jacob are probably the most into the expanded universe out of us four. So.
No, I listened to a lot
I'm
of First Doctor
trying to
Big
get
Finish. My book
a
collection is
collection
just
of books
pathetic.
going here. And
Okay, got your book weebiness out of the way? Can we finish this 56-minute thing up now?
No.
now on to the fan fiction.
Oh, fucking God!
That was a joke.
But
That
you're
was a
forgetting
joke,
all of
Brian.
the important comics that came out at the time with the Doctor's other grandchildren.
Oh, no!
Was that like Sarah and John Who or something?
No, it's John and Jillian who. I will send you
Why
guys a
did you not
link.
mention those companions?
comment.
What about all of the First Doctor's cameos in the rest of the Doctor Who stories?
What about Richard
What are
Hurd?
what's that
Dave
comic?
Bradley?
But let's talk about Twice Upon a Time. Let's talk about everything
No,
else.
we're saving
That's
that
not-
for the Peter Capaldi retrospective.
All right, are we done yet? I think we've
Fi-
had Brian suffer enough.
Okay.
I
All
forgot
right.
about Brad Suffolk.
Now, final thoughts on the Hartnell era. Jesus Christ.
10 out of 10, no flaws, it's perfect. And if you disagree,
7
then
out
you
of
should
10.
be hanged.
I agree.
7 out of
What? You want to try that again?
Yeah, do you want to try that
7.
again, Jacob? What, are you fucking
7.
IGN? Fuck off.
No, legit. I give Hartnell's Doctor a 7.
Oh my god, no.
Fuck off. It's even worse
Just
than
wait till we
IGN.
get to
It's Gabe
Sylvester
Spot.
McCoy, and I get to go all bookweave.
Hartnell as a doctor, I'd give him a 9 out of 10. As the TV era as a whole, I'd give a 7 out of 10. That's just based on all my ratings added up.
Well, I mean,
Average.
it averages out as a 7.9 out of 10 for me, but I'm still going to say it's a 10 out of 10. Even though it's not perfect, it's just perfect to me.
Dylan took the words right out of my mouth.
I know, it just holds a place in my heart. That,
By the
you know,
You're cold.
it won't be shifted by any rational argument because I am a flawed emotional being. And I'm sorry, but that's how evolution has made me, or God made me, if you Jacob. Sorry, Jacob.
I'm not religious.
I don't think any of us are, unless Joey. Are you religious?
Nah.
But I'd give the television series with Hartnell in it as a whole a 7 out of 10, just based on my average score.
But in your heart of hearts, Brian.
Huh?
In your heart of hearts, what do you give
In
us?
my heart of heart, it's probably...
Have you no emotions? Hate, pride, fear, love of the heart and Lyra. Have you no emotions?
Have you no
Brian?
emotions?
I'd probably... Again,
Have you never seen
I'd
Brian?
probably raise it to at least a 9 out of 10.
It's far from being all over, Brian.
You do have emotions, Brian. I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna take this back. Gonna bring it full circle right now. At the beginning of this video, I called William Hartnell a magical doctor, and I still stand by that. For my final rating, I would say I would agree that it's a 10 out of 10, and it's magic to me. Like I love it. It holds such a special place in my heart, and I absolutely love the first Doctor. I love William Hartnell. His
Now
era
I've got to go off and listen to Lords of the Red Planet.
That's a second Doctor story, you bastard.
I know, I'm on the second Doctor.
Well, I don't care. You listen to a first Doctor story right now.
That's our
No, I'm not
final
gonna
thoughts on
Yes, you
William
are.
Hartnell's Doctor Who era. That
As you
was
know,
Lord
Hartnell
Slar.
goes,
Lord
so-
Slar. Slug. Unsubscribe to him just to piss him off. Jacob. Give Jacob
See,
subscribers.
I can
'cause he needs more.
afford to shed
And
subscribers,
Joey-
unlike you, Brian.
Joey,
I hate you all.
Joey needs way more subscribers. Because
He does.
I
Joey
do,
is like,
I do.
what? You
Please,
don't even have
have
50
pity on
yet.
me.
Joey puts so much effort into his channel. It's like better than mine, and
And mine.
I'm the
I mean,
one with 150.
all I do is I just do off the cuff crap. Well, I mean, I do script a lot of my videos, but at the end of the day, it's just me being a cunt. And apparently,
Whereas
Sam
Joey
like
always
that,
has
but
gay.
Joey.
I was
he
on
does
Joey's
his job.
channel once.
Joey's just a genuinely charming person, and his videos are great, so you should subscribe to him.
Thank you.
Anyway, fuck you,
Now
Dylan.
play us
The
out
end.
with.